Hi, welcome to Tea with T.E.S. I'm T.E.S. It's my initials for Tracey Erin Smith. Sometimes they call me Jew Paul, and I'm here with my friend Kunter. Welcome, Kunter.
Hey, Jew Paul.
How you doing?
Good, how are
Let's
you?
have a little toast.
A little toast. Oh my goodness. Cheers.
Cheers to a first day.
Yes, a successful first day.
Unsuccessful?
Successful. I was like sipping the tea at the same time.
Right, of course, that's
It's
multitasking.
what kind of tea is this?
Multi-teaing.
Multi-teaing.
Mint. Do you like it?
I love it.
I did it because of your hair.
Thank you so much.
welcome.
So it's the personal touches.
Yeah, exactly. So this tea time is about you. And I'm curious in terms of, I think you were saying in class that your trans identity is relatively new. What has that process been like? Where are you now?
I feel like I'm a bit of a newbie, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So like at the moment, I would say I identify as a non-binary woman.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it feels almost a bit like a clarification. You know, if you have to ask and I had to let you know, this is kind of, this is where I fit.
Yeah.
This is a general idea, but also like what is gender? If it doesn't really matter, who cares, I realize now that when I was a kid, I sort of always looked up to the women in my life. I looked up to the cartoons, and I looked up to, all these dumb digital characters in video games. It was always the women. It was always the feminine characters. Who's what I looked up to. I never fit in with the boys,
Right.
even the gay men. It was just never really my thing. So it's kind of refreshing to be like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, maybe this is where I'm at and this is what I want to do. I'm not sure what the future will hold, I think, for that. Like, I don't know if I want to do any hormones or anything like that. I'm like, considerations, don't get me wrong, but it's that constant battle of, do I just want to live my honest to God truth and who I am? Because I'm comfortable in my body. I'm comfortable the way I look
Right,
and how,
right.
whatever. But
Yeah.
also there is that perception thing about how people perceive me and how that affects the way that I'm able to move through the world. Because I'm not viewed as a woman. I'm going to be treated differently. Sometimes that benefits me and sometimes that doesn't. And of course, to hand off and say, hi, maybe I want to be viewed as a woman all the time, you hand over a lot of privilege. Trans women are killed. I don't even know the statistics. You'll have to Google that later. But it's dangerous. It's not just I'm gonna come out. It's like, no, this will change forever the rest of my life.
Right.
And
what I'm hearing is, why go all that way if you already feel comfortable who you are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fabulous. I love it.
People have described me as feminine, and I would be like, who are you talking about? Because inside I felt like Tony Soprano. So I was like, what is this feminine thing they're talking about? And I wanted to use the term two-spirited to express myself or to say that's how I felt inside. But I didn't want to appropriate a term from Indigenous culture. So I went for a deep dive in my own culture, which is Judaism. And in Judaism, I found that Judaism actually lists like 5 genders.
Really?
It's fascinating. The masculine woman, the feminine man, the feminine woman, the masculine man, and then I think the 5th is an equal balance of both.
Neat.
So it was really neat to know that in my own culture from thousands of years ago, they were already recognizing that that's just a thing.
That's so cool.
Get over it and get on with your life.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is your makeup is very clown-esque for drag when I watched your audition tape and have seen some of your stuff. So what I thought might be neat is if you had to describe what clown is to a child or a person who's never heard of it, how would you explain that?
I always treat clown as it's playing pretend. You're just kind of being silly. I think actually that's probably what it is. I feel like to be a clown, you really have to learn how to be you want to be silly. And I know not all clowns are silly. Some of us are sad clowns. As a child, I was definitely like a stay at home and play Sims kind of thing. What I loved about The Sims was that you could create your own relationships, create your own stories, create the sort of world where everything was kind of just the way I needed it to be. I didn't have to stress about everything. It was a little bit of an escape, a lot of an escape, actually. That's how my whole drag character started. The reason I kind of became a clown was actually because I was playing The Sims online. So I'm filtering through the heads and I find this character who's got a big clowny face on and this giant green, like, bob. And I was like, this is the funniest freaky thing ever. What if I was a clown as a drag queen and then I trolled around online and just like, you know, played with these people? How funny would that be? And then it accidentally turned into a real life person.
What do you think the putting on clown makeup does for you? What is the gift in it? What does it allow you to do or be that you might not otherwise do or be?
Clowning allows me to be to really show my flaws, actually.
Wow.
That's what I like about clown. I'm not as stressed about like, I've got to hit this choreo, I've got to be on the ball, I've got to do this. I'm a clown. I can be kind of dumb and stupid. I don't really have to know, you know, the choreo if I want to, or my makeup can be kind of weird and wonky, and that's okay. It really lets you, it takes, you know, the concept of let's play, and then it's physical, it's in your face. You know I'm playing, and even if it is a more emotional, serious piece, I still get that permission.
Do you know how brilliant you are? Because, no, think about it, because from most of the drag that I've seen, everybody is trying to be split-second perfect with their lip syncing, with their choreo, everything. And so you can be impressed, but sometimes you're left cold because it's like technically it's interesting, but where's the humanity? Where's the flaws, the cracks, the mistakes? And if you add clowning to drag, I mean, I think it's quite brilliant. So I'm curious, here we are sitting at day one. It's way too early, but do you have any idea what you might like to do for your final performance? And then you can look back on what you said.
I'm thinking, okay, so I do this act, and it's a live ASMR moment.
Oh, cool.
And it's a strip tease. And in the act that I normally do, I take off my clothing and I do this little strip, and we talk about all of the clothing. We talk about why this jacket is relevant and what this color represents to me, and let's, you know, listen to this, you know, intimate moment of me taking it off, or, you know, talking about the bra that I have and how it's the first bra I've ever bought and why that's relevant to me as a non-binary trans person. So I'm thinking I'd like to incorporate that into my final act, but who knows?
That has great potential. I mean, each piece of clothing can represent a different story from your life. It could represent peeling off the layers of falseness to become who you are. If I could give you one mantra moving forward, it would be, what do I want to say? What does Kunter want to say? Like really focusing on self and self-expression so that this piece is about you. Yeah, and all your multi-talents, but also your heart.
Yeah. I really want to show my heart for sure. That's, I mean, that's always how I've been. I've always been a bit of a, I don't want to say stubborn, but I've always been a gut kind of person, you know, like my heart's really telling me this, and this is what I want to follow. That's always kind of been in me, and it's, this feels the same. I feel like I'm going to follow my heart. I really want to do what feels right. And that's really what that's what I'm going to chase.
Amazing. Well, I want you to have the last word with that, and we'll do another cheers.
Cheers!
Thank you for coming to Tea with T.E.S.
Thank you.
Kunter. Amazing.
They say there's no doing it on your own. Got you thinking you're all alone. Hold up, step back, breathe in, I'm here, play. Take a second to look around.